When it comes to pest management, what happens outside of facilities matters just as much, if not more, than what happens inside. The most common pests found outside of facilities include rodents, specifically rats and mice, cockroaches, termites, and flies. But these pests don't appear out of nowhere. They are drawn to three main resources, and the exterior or grounds of a building can unknowingly provide all three. Dr. Michael Bentley, Vice President of Training and Technical Services for the National Pest Management Association, explains more.
I would say the two easiest things are, and keep in mind, the mindset should always be proactive measures. So what we want to do is be able to change our behaviors to where we're doing things that prevent the likelihood that any pests are going to want to come around our structure. They all show up for the same three things: food, water, and shelter. So we need to try to minimize or eliminate access to any of those three resources as best we can. Unfortunately, the structures themselves, that's a resource. So we can't eliminate the structure.
Right.
But what we can do is try to minimize or eliminate the amount of food, water, and resources outside the structure to start. So sanitation measures are a really big one, making sure that waste management is handled on a very consistent level. All of the trash cans or however waste is managed at that facility, there's tight fitting lids on those trash cans, even if it's the large commercial bins, that they have a lid that can flip over. That helps to eliminate or prevent access of pests into that, making sure those areas are properly cleaned and managed. But it's not just food resources like what trash can provide. Just general clutter can create a resource because it provides an ideal harborage site for rodents, for cockroaches, for all these other pests that we don't want to see inside the structure. And facility management could inadvertently be creating these perfect resource sites, these harborage sites right next to maybe a major entry door or bay door around the facility. So it's creating these checkpoints for these rodents and other pests to be able to find their way in. So keeping the outside of the facility well maintained, that includes landscaping, eliminating any debris, piles of wood pallets, those kinds of things. These are all easy to overlook, very commonly found resources around the outside of facilities that, if left unchecked and unmanaged, they can quickly become perfect harborage sites and even food resources for some insects and pests.
A building's perimeter is the first line of defense against pests. All facilities should work with a pest management professional who can conduct regular inspections to help identify any possible vulnerabilities before they become bigger problems.
Yes, when it comes to the pest management professionals inspection, they're going to be looking for those conducive conditions. So, but easily overlooked areas that could provide food, water, or shelter for all of these pests and the pest problems that we're talking about. So on the outside, it's going to be looking for all of the clutter and the other things that I just mentioned.
Right.
But most importantly, they're also going to be looking for any potential entry points. And this doesn't just have to be the big obvious things like the bay door or a broken window in a facility. It could be any tiny crack, crevice, gap, anything around where doors are improperly sealed, windows and doors don't properly shut. But even areas that are areas of vulnerability are any potential plumbing or electrical entry point into a structure. So that's going to be anywhere where you have plumbing lines coming in, electrical lines coming in. As these entry points age over time, the sealants and things start to go bad. It's just the nature of how all of these resources and the sealants work around these structures. So they're going to be looking for potential access points just like that for pest issues around the structure on the outside.
By focusing on prevention outside of facilities, you create a stronger barrier against pests and a safer, more secure environment outside. Because when it comes to pests, the best solution is stopping them before they get in.